uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, humans of these earthlings, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. Welcome back for another special video. Today I want to go through a bunch of tactical gameplay stuff in gunfights, particularly corridor fighting, and I'm going to show you a great example of the peeker's advantage, or desync as we call it in Pubg Mobile, and how you can use that to your advantage in all your gameplay. Stick around and enjoy. Now, first and foremost, let's have a look at this situation here. If we're looking up at the top of the map, you can see there's my mini-map. There are footsteps, and there is also a bit of gunfire going there. That means that we have someone in that direction, which is slightly east, on the same level as us. Mr. Ouija and I, we drop mill base a lot. This is kind of what we do. This is our regular thing. We like to drop mill base. And one of the things that we've found is that going out and being really aggressive in these situations quite often just doesn't work. The problem is when you drop, there are so many separate areas around you that feature overlooks, that if you get outside these buildings, you'll get third-partied an awful lot. Now that bloke down there, and I just saw he has a crossbow, and I think he's also got something else, but he wasn't using it. He's up here somewhere. Oh, sounds like an M16. Yep, there we go. All right, so the key point here, and something that I really want to talk about with regard to mill base, is if you look at all these corridor fights, they're very straightforward. You've got to worry about that area there. Occasionally someone will poke at you from one of these doors, and that'll be hectic and all that kind of thing. Or you'll get hit from behind by someone coming in the other end, but you can hear these things happening. What happens when you go outside those areas, and if we kick off right back here to the beginning, I'll give you an overlook. We've got cell block A, cell block B, cell block C. Over here we have a factory. There's another factory just behind us here, rather. And there's a huge big bloody tower over there that everyone goes to. And as we go through, you'll see that all these situations, if you're on the roof or if you're anywhere else, they give an overlook on your position. And they allow people to basically kill you without any fear of repercussions. So what will happen a lot of times on hot drops is you go a bit ham, you get a couple of kills, and you start charging around. And if you've got good players in the same lobby as you, then you're going to find that all that happens is they feast upon you. Now, obviously, someone has dropped over there. There we go. There's one bloke. Now, I'm using the M16A4. This is a gorgeous weapon. And if we look at this burst here, 1, 2, 3, like that is all the bananas right there. This gun is fantastic for tight, confined gunfights like that. It's like a shotgun in that respect. And you can see this is still the same game. Ouija and I are guarding this same area, this same building, this same A block against another squad that's pushing in on this corner here. And this is what we talk about when you got to pay attention to the minimap in these kind of situations. Look, we've just knocked a bloke. He's obviously just over there. There's footsteps right in front of us. This footstep over here is definitely not in front of us. That is coming from this direction over here. So I'm very aware of that. I like to use my sounds, and I'm watching for that. Here he comes. Again, the M16 in the tight, if you can keep it on track, and it's not easy. Quite often you'll die using the M16 when you miss a burst, but if it works tremendously well. And this is what we're talking about. Okay, look at that. I've seen a buggy over there. There's one bloke jumped out of that buggy. Oh, I'm extremely suspicious of this. And I hear Ouija shooting at him. And then Ouija immediately tells me that there's someone on the roof above. And this is what we were talking about before. There's a bloke on the roof. Now look how clear cut that is. This guy right here, okay? This is why in these situations, you don't hang about on the roofs. You don't hang about on the walkways. You get inside, loot up, and then try and work your way around the rest of the map, because it's so easy. And once you're knocked up the top there, it's so hard for your teammates to get you. Like, you are really not in a friendly place. So what we're talking about here is playing smarter, not harder. You you want to be aggressive on hot drops, you want to be aggressive at boot camp, or you want to be aggressive at mill base, all these places, but you can't force the pace of the game. You've got to be very, very careful with that, because if you attempt to force the pace of the game, all you end up doing is getting absolutely ripped apart. Now, where the hell are we? That is, here we go. This is another situation. This is, again, me and Ouija. This is another drop. Again, mill base. We're focusing on mill base primarily here. This is a corridor fight. Now, this reminds me, and I say this a lot, if you've ever seen the start of Star Wars where Darth Vader is rolling about, coming onto Princess Leia's ship. Now, I'm going to do what's called a pre-fire here. You can see me pre-firing out. Now, the reason for this is pretty obvious. I'm looking at that spot down there. The only place that guy can hit me from right now is that spot down there. I'm running out and I'm pre-firing that spot right there. And if he pops, then happy days. And if he doesn't pop, well, it costs me a few bullets, and that's literally all. I've got 2 ARs at the moment. I'm looking at the footprints. I can see a footprint on the right. There he is again. Now, let's talk. I know I talk about this a lot, but the desync, it's called the peeker's advantage. So I'm going to run you through this very, very quickly. I know a lot of you know this if you've seen my video on it, okay? This is me. This is the bad guy. And this is the server, okay? When I am peeking out there, I am sending that to the server, and that sends that signal to the bad guy to tell me that I've peeked out, okay? If he is already standing in the middle of that corridor, I can see him standing when I peek out, because the server has told me that he is there. Even though I can't see him, the server has told me that he is there already. So when I peek out, there is this distance here, the distance between the server and me, right there. I get that free before the server sends my information to that guy and tells him where I am. And that means that there is a huge advantage to the guy peeking, me, right? And there is a huge disadvantage. And that's why you'll quite often see situations like this where you'll peek out and you'll start firing and the guy won't even fire back. And it's not that he hasn't fired back. On his screen, he may actually have already sent the rounds down towards you as your gunfire is coming in. But the way PUBG Mobile works is if this is you and this is him and you're firing and he's firing, if you knock him out before his round reaches you, his round completely disappears. It's like it never existed. The server just doesn't acknowledge it. So that's the peeker's advantage. And that's one of the reasons why you'll see in these corridor fights, I'm doing this all the time. Now, obviously there's another bloke here. Again, we reset peeker's advantage again. Anytime you do something like that, if you have a look as I'm coming up these stairs, this bloke comes out, I move left, all the way left out of sight, and then I come back. Pre-firing. And what that does is it gives me the opportunity of getting that peeker's advantage, the desync advantage. This is especially important when you're like me. Like if you look at my ping down the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and you want to know what that is, you can see it right there, okay? Whoopsie daisy, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Right there. It's 148 milliseconds. That's a pretty large amount of ping in today's internet. A lot of the guys on my server, like from Japan and such, are running at 20 milliseconds. When you've got a gun like the Barrel M762, which will kill someone in 0.285 of a second, that is 285 milliseconds. A 120 millisecond advantage is ridiculous. That is literally like 40% of the time it takes to kill someone with the Barrel M762. So doing these things is not just important, it's necessary if you want to play against people who have really good amounts of ping. And then we're going to do a couple of situations where Ouija and I, we've just kicked off, and you can see me using the AKM as a long-range DMR. One of the things that a lot of people don't understand about guns like the AK is they are slow firing. Now that doesn't sound like a big advantage. It's slightly slower than an M416 and such, which means that when you tap fire, you actually only really fire a bullet or two out ever. And that can make it really, really easy when the gun hits so much harder than an M416 to tap fire at long range. And you'll see then we switch up to single, and we're just looking for opportunities here, using this as a DMR. All you got to do with an AKM is hit a couple of shots. Now, the way this game works with aim assist, it will help you with shots at this range. Like, that is a ridiculous shot with a holographic sight. But aim assist loves to help you with a holo to actually hit the target, right? And then the AK, its natural recoil will push up, up. You can see it. It's rising slightly up as you tap it out. Faster you tap it, the higher it rises. And obviously that's not such a great thing. And this enables you to do really cool things. Like with the AK, it's the tap, 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 where it's 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. You want to be doing things like that. And then you're switching. We get a couple in there. It's 2 body shots, 1 possible shot in a limb. And then we're going to push down here and clear our target. A lot more where they came from. I hope you enjoy these kind of videos. Short and sweet. If you want any more of this content, let me know. And I will make it. Until next time, look after yourselves. Love you all. Stay safe in the battlefield. Remember to tune in on Thursday night NA time for squads, patron squads, and the regular Bushkapalooza that we had today on a Monday, or Sunday night NA time, which was, we had 550 people watching us do crazy ass things all over the place in public scrims. Love you guys. Bye for now.